We're going to start by plugging in the machine. And first off, if you happen to have a surge protector, go ahead and plug it into that. That way it's definitely going to stay safe from no matter what type of power source that you have at your home. We're going to plug it in and turn it on. And we'll open up the foot control. Right. I'm going to walk you through some basic settings, how to thread and wind a bobbin, how to put the bobbin correctly into the sewing machine. So when we bring it out from the box, there's still a few extra things that were supported when it came from the factory. Just go ahead and take those out. I'm going to bring the needle to the highest position. And we'll start off by winding a bobbin. Oh wait, before we do that, let me show you what's actually in the accessory case. Because even though they come in this little bag, in front of this machine is the compartments where you can store all the feet nice and organized. Okay, first off, the biggest thing about this machine is if you are a quilter, you will love this. It comes with a walking foot. That's one item that you don't have to purchase when you buy this sewing machine. It's included with the machine. All right, all your basics like brushes, a seam ripper. All right, we'll just start on the feet as they kind of come out. There's a zipper foot. Go ahead and put that in its home there. A overlock foot. A clear foot with a mark in the center. Now this is set up so it's nice and open underneath, and that's going to be great for your decorative stitches that will come up. And actually on the feet there are letters, and underneath each stitch there are letters. So it will tell you which foot it needs for each of these stitches. So it kind of has a little manual on this front panel for you. A blind hem foot with adjustable guide so you can get it just right. In my hand is the other famous foot. It comes with a 1/4 inch foot. So you just use your regular straight stitch. There's a guide on the foot so it keeps it nice and perfect, accurate seams no matter what you're doing. There is a vertical spool pin that fits right up here. Depending on what size of thread or kind of thread that you are using, you may need to use the vertical one or the horizontal one. Some extra needles, those will store right down below here. I'll take out a bobbin to wind. And there's some extra bobbins, a smaller spool cap. So depending on your size of spool, there's a large one already on the machine when it comes. There is a seam guide, so that will fit right on the back side of the machine and allow you to have increments all the way across, all the way out to a good, 2.5, 3 inches, no matter what you're working on. There's also, in this case, the buttonhole foot is in here already. So all you have to do is put the button in, set it, and it will do that size of buttonhole for you automatically. Okay, one extra item in here is the screwdriver that will help for taking off the throat plate here. So as you need to get in and clean that, we always say clean the machine every 3 to 5 bobbins, and that will keep it nice and running smoothly. There's even a place to oil down below. This machines usually do not come with oil these days, so buy some sewing machine oil from your local store and you'll be all set. So I mentioned about your thread. If you have thread that is cross wound, so on the spool it's X's, you're going to put that on the horizontal spool pin. If you have thread that is actually stacked where the thread lays right next to each other, that's when you're going to use the vertical spool pin. So I'm going to just go ahead and take that off for right now. Since this is a smaller spool, I'm going to use the smaller spool cap. Be sure to put it on all the way so there's no gap between the spool and the cap for winding a bobbin. To get a bobbin perfectly wound, you want to go ahead and go around the pre-tensioner. Make sure you get in there nice and tight. That is going to make sure that your bobbin is wound properly and there's no loose thread on it. Usually what I do is just from the inside to out, put the thread through the bobbin, place it on, and then push it over. All you need to do is step on the foot control and let it spin. I usually hold on to it until it actually breaks off, and then we'll let it go. You have a speed control on the front of the machine, so if we slow that down, we'll actually slow the bobbin down. But great if you're sewing with somebody that is a little younger and you want to make sure they're not racing away, or you're just doing some really fine work and you feel like you don't have as much control over the foot control. You will find that you do have a nice range of speed when you're actually sewing. Okay, so we'll stop when it's done, clip the thread. All right, and for down below, we're just going to push this little black button over. There's a bobbin already in there, so we have, I think, 4 bobbins when we're all said and done here that come with the machine. On the door of the machine, it'll show you which way the thread needs to come off the bobbin. So just drop it in, the little groove right at 6 o'clock. We're just gonna lay it right in there. I'm gonna just lay it off to the side until I'm done threading the machine. The pre-tensioner, that is only used for winding a bobbin. So we're gonna just follow the arrows. They're even numbered on this machine. 1, down here 2, up at 3, down at 4, 1 guide at the top of the needle, and a needle threader. Hallelujah. So it's just going to bring your thread right on through a little loop. Once you're here and you're ready to bring the bobbin thread up, just push the button 2 times. 1, 2, up comes the little loop, and put the threads both underneath the presser foot and to the back. Close the bobbin case door, click that in place, and let's go ahead and sew. Now I said this automatically starts off with a straight stitch at a basic stitch length. So we'll just go ahead and see how we're doing here. Love the sound of the machine, nice and quiet. When I stop, the needle's always up, or if I stop, if I push the button for stopping in the needle down, now I'll always stop in the down position. Make it really easy to pivot or turn corners as you're going. Your reverse is right at your fingertips. Just hold that in, it'll go back as you need it to be. When you're done, if your needle's stopping down, just push it up, and then you don't have to turn the hand wheel all the time. So I always like this needle up, needle down button. It's right at my fingertips as I use it. Let's talk about some of the stitches that you have on the machine. A couple of the basic ones. There's 2 of them actually, number 3 and number 4, and all you have to do to get to the stitch is just push the plus button. The number shows in the window, so if I'm on number 3, that's kind of a securing stitch. It's pre-programmed, so you don't have to hold the reverse button in. So as I sew, it's going to do a couple stitches forward, couple stitches back, and stitch. So if I get all the way to the end of my fabric, all I have to do to end this sequence is actually touch the button. Let me sew right to the end. Touch the button 1 time, and watch, it's going to stitch back and forward, and with my foot still on the foot control, it stops for me, and then it's done. And then I can start it again. It's a nice way to have secured stitches without you always having to do that. Oh, did you see that? I have a little thread cutter over to the side. I'm just so naturally, I just do it, pull it out, cut it, and away I go. There's, if you're doing a zigzag, so let's go ahead. We're going to go to stitch number 10. And it'll just kind of start off with a nice basic setting for width and length. So if I want to change the width, I'm going to bring it down, touch this button 1 time. The light lights up next to the width option, and I have a width of up to 7 millimeters wide. That's a super wide stitch. And then if I have the highlighted item down below here, this is for stitch length. So I can make this a lot shorter or closer together. I can actually touch it or change it while I'm actually sewing, and you'll get all different lengths as you see there. So we can make it wider, narrower, longer, and away you go. A lot of quilters are always looking for blanket stitches. On this machine, there's actually 3 different ones. So we'll go back up to the number sign, and we're going down to 28, 29, and 30. You can just hold that on until the number comes up in the window. And just depending on the look that you're after, you'll test them out. Again, you can make them different sizes and different widths depending on what you're actually doing. Here's one. We'll go up to 29. That one kind of spreads it out a little bit more. And number 30 has the nice heavy look of a, like if you were doing it with floss or with different types of heavier thread. So let's take a look and see what we have. I love it. Needles up, lift the foot, cut your thread, and there are 3 different kinds of blanket stitches for you. Wonderful collection of decorative stitches. Again, all you need to do is pick your stitch and away you go. So if I go to stitch number 33, it even tells me I want to go ahead and use, this one just is going to use the regular foot, but some of these will have that clear foot noted, depending on how heavy they stitch. If I'm sewing a row of decorative stitches and I don't want to stop in the middle, and by the way, these decorative stitches, not only on fabric, but if you're a scrapbooker, these are great to actually use. So if I don't want to stop in the middle, like I want it to kind of come to the end, I want to use this bullseye right here, this front button. That's going to be an ending stitch. So as I go ahead and stitch, what it's going to do is finish to the last stitch of that decorative stitch. Quit on me. Again, my foot is still on the foot control, and all I have to do is to pull it out, and I have a perfectly formed stitch and not a half of a stitch left there. All right, let's see here. We've got, again, 50 stitches on here. We've got overlock stitches, so you can use with the overlock foot. If you're going to put the walking foot on, what you want to do is actually, here, let's do it. You're actually going to want to unscrew the side here. First time you always, you unscrew things. They're a little tight from the factory, so And be aware there. Okay, the key with a walking foot to put it on is this arm right here, this white arm needs to sit above this needle screw. So as I put it on, I'm going to kind of hold it up and out of, hey, look what's in there. Little felt pad, so if you're using that vertical spool pin, put that down. It'll help so your spools don't spin away from you. Wondering what that little red guy was. That is not a normal feature. All right, so let's go ahead and put that on. And I'm screwing it into the side here. And a walking foot, you're going to use this for any type of quilting projects, but if you have stretch fabrics, you have where the seam kind of comes out a little wavy, all you need to do is actually put this on, and then the fabric's not going to get stretched out of shape while you're actually stitching it. You can use this with any of the decorative stitches that are on the sewing machine. So decorative stitches, forward and reverse stitches. We're just going to give this a nice little tighten here, so nothing wiggles loose. And a walking foot has teeth on the top. So here we go. We'll just use the stitch that we were last on. We'll slide that in. And again, if this was on through batting and everything, we're really going to see that it'll keep those layers nice and even here. Another place for a walking foot is with stripes or plaids. All right, so we'll see how this ends. We'll end that right there. Finishes up the stitch. And away you go. All right. I'm doing a buttonhole. We'll do that one little time here. I'm going to go ahead and take that walking foot off, and we'll put the main piece back on. The regular foot will allow you just to snap the feet on and off, other than the walking foot and a few other items like a ruffler or a, let's see here, what else? Or a darning foot if you're doing any free motion quilting. Do you ever really have to take this whole screw out? So just go ahead, we'll put it back on, and I'll show you how easy the feet switch out. All right. Now back up. Okay, there's a little red dot in the back. You touch it, the foot slides up. To do a buttonhole, we're actually going to take a button and put it in the back of the foot, close it up, and then that will be the exact size that the buttonhole is going to do. And these feet just going to snap on to the machine. And then we'll go ahead and pick, let's do number 6. There's actually 3 different buttonholes on this machine. So you got standard one, a jeans one, and a keyhole buttonhole. So 6 it is. All right. And once you actually start your buttonhole, you don't have to do anything else except pull down the lever that's in the back side. It's right behind the needle threader. When you do that, that's going to tell the machine what size of button you have placed in that foot. And once you start, you just go ahead and stitch. It'll do everything for you from the tack at the bottom all the way up. You'll turn around and come and finish it up for you. So when people say I don't like buttonholes, I always wonder if they've tried a machine like this, because it's pretty easy. And every time people take our classes, they're like, oh, well, I don't mind buttonholes. And buttonholes can be used for so many things, like drawstring bags, or where a drawstring for a pair of pants would be. When it stops, your foot will probably still be on the foot control. Just lift it up, take it out. It resets for the next buttonhole, and look at how pretty that is going to be. Now, this machine is available on our website, so take a look. It's an awesome machine, no matter if you're beginning sewer, or you just have an older machine you need to replace and have some of the wonderful electronic features that you can get with a brand new sewing machine.